Hello everybody, this is Material Girl 338, otherwise known as Diane. I am cooking today. I'm making homemade manicotti, and my sister-in-law gave me the recipe, how to make the shells and the stuffing, and I know that when you go into the store, they're very expensive. So when you find they're so easy to make and they're so cheap to make, I'll tell you exactly what I did, okay? For the shell, this is the shell. I'm cooking it now. It almost looks like a pancake, right? For the manicotti shell, you need 2 eggs, 1 cup of flour, and what I do is I put half a cup of flour and a half a cup of pastry flour. It's like semolina, and it's a very fine flour too. It's for pastry. But if you don't, you could just put 1 cup of flour, 2 eggs, 1 cup of milk, and a pinch of salt. That's your shell. That makes the outer shell. And then I'll show you what I do. You have to heat up the frying pan, Teflon frying pan. And you have to do it, before you prepare this, make up some flour and water and make it like a pancake batter. Because you have to do 2 or 3 runs before the pot gets actually hot enough to make it slide. Because then, you know, the first 2, like when you make pancakes, the first couple of them come out not so good, and then after that they come out really good. So I mix the batter, and what I do is I really mix the batter good, because you're going to start to see air holes come up. And I take a measuring cup, I think this is a half a cup, measuring cup, and I just put it into the frying pan, Teflon frying pan, and then I circle it around so that it coats the bottom of the frying pan, and let it stay on low gas. See, the gas is very, very low. And then over here I have my sauce cooking, and I'll give you my recipe for sauce. I make pomodoro sauce, which is fresh tomato sauce. I don't add a lot of ingredients. All I do is the Brooklyn way of making sauce. You fry, you use olive oil, coat the bottom of the pan, about 4 or 5 cloves of garlic chopped, and 1 large onion, and chop it up, heat up the oil, saute the garlic, first throw the garlic in, and then you put the onion in. And then you saute that till it gets like a golden brown. 2 or 3 cans of tomato, and I'll show you what I use. I either make my own. This is my own. See my jar of tomatoes? I make my own. Or I use Red Pack. They're very good. Hunt's is very good. Or Tutto Russo. And the Tutto Russo, this is the Tutto Russo I'm talking about, not the green can, the blue can. You could use diced or whole, doesn't matter, but it's got to be blue, not the green. The green is like, it reminds me of V8 juice. It's horrible. Okay, so now I turn to my pancake shell, my manicotti shell, and see how it's slipping and sliding, and then I'm just going to put it over there. Then I let the frying pan stay. It has to get hot again, because I, took it off the thing. My sauce, as far as the sauce is concerned, so you saute the garlic and the onions till they're golden, gold color, and then I add my tomatoes. And if I like clumpy tomato sauce, that's why I call it pomodoro, which is clumpy. And then I throw in my tomatoes, salt, pepper, and fresh basil. Do not add oregano. I don't know where these people got this recipe from adding oregano. You do not add oregano to sauce. No self-respecting Italian ever puts oregano in their sauce. So just fresh parsley, which is called basil. I'm sorry, fresh basil, not parsley. Fresh basil. In Italian we say basilico. and salt, pepper. I sometimes add like a tablespoon or a teaspoon of sugar. That's it. That's it. You let it cook, and I do add, and I'll show you. I add baking soda to my sauce, and I'll show you what happens to it. I add the baking soda because the tomatoes, especially the ones that I jar, have a lot of acid to them. So, and I think that the baking soda just gives it better flavor. See, baking soda, okay? Just a little bit. I'll show you what I do. And I love this pot. This is a cast iron pot that I bought in Sears. I take a teaspoon. I don't want to kill my shell while I'm talking. I have to turn my shell. See, and that's really boiling, so I have it at simmer. I wet the teaspoon. I wet a teaspoon, okay? I want to be on camera. And I just dip it in. That's much. But I don't put a teaspoon. I don't put the metal in the sauce because it makes a reaction. So what I do is I use either the wooden spoon. Okay, so this is wet already. The wooden spoon, I just dip it in about that much. Okay, watch what happens. See all that? That's the acid from the tomatoes. And it just makes the sauce taste better. And because of the flood, everything that was in the freezer, the refrigerator got ruined, and I had saved bags full of fresh basil from my garden, and I had to throw them out. But in the summertime, plant the basil, and then you could freeze it. Wash it, clean it, make sure it's clean, and then freeze it. And then you have it for the winter time. And then I put, I Ziploc everything, and I also seal it with my vacuum sealer. Okay, that's what you do to sauce, and then you let it cook on low for a good hour. That's fresh marinara sauce. Okay, not marinara, marinara. That was my Brooklyn accent too. Okay, so that shell is done. Now I'm going to make another one. And I now made the stuffing, the ricotta, the stuffing for the manicotti. I'll give you the recipe for that. This is my sister-in-law's recipe, and she's a good cook. Okay, so you coat the pan like that, not too long. The inside, the stuffing for the manicotti is ricotta, and I use Palio ricotta. If you can't get the Palio, see if you can get the Sorrentino. You need a whole, what is this? 32 ounces. You need a whole 32 ounces of this. In that, you put it in a bowl. You shred up some mozzarella, some fresh mozzarella, not a lot, just a little bit. You shred it up, grate it. Grated cheese, I put like a third of a cup of grated cheese. It's got to be good grated cheese, like Pecorino Romano and Lucadelli. No store-bought Kraft nonsense. That's not cheese. That's imitation nonsense. 2 eggs and parsley. Okay? You could do fresh parsley and a pinch of salt. And in the shell, it's 2 eggs, 1 cup of flour, and I mix it. I do 1/2 cup of flour, 1/2 cup of pastry flour, 1 cup of milk, and a pinch of salt. That's for the shell. Okay, and the other one is the stuffing. See how I turned it around? It's very light. That's what you want. Very light. And I got to chop up my fresh parsley because I'm doing the stuffing now. So I'll show everybody what I do. And it's so easy to make sauce. Some people make it so complicated and it's crazy because it's sauce. It's easy. And a lot of the Italians don't cook it long. When you're making gravy is meat sauce. It's the meatballs, the spadinas, the sausage. That's the Sunday gravy. When you make that you got to cook long. But I haven't made that in a long time because it's a lot of work and I really can't be bothered. So as you get older, you want to do things that make your life easier, not harder. And especially with this flood and everything and the storm in my home being such a disaster, I don't have a mind. Today I'm doing this because it's taking my mind off of my problems. Okay, so let me take the parsley. Here's my parsley. Okay, here's my bag of parsley. And you see I have it in a Ziploc bag. And what I do is I put, sorry for moving the camera. Let me open this so you could see it. Okay. What I do is I put a wet paper towel in there. After I wash my parsley, I wash all my vegetables. And you should too, because you don't want to know where it comes from. I wash it and I clean it with vegetable soap. I spray it with the vegetable soap. See, in there is vegetable soap. I spray it and then I rinse it out in a pot and then I re-rinse it so everything's nice and clean. Wait, guys, I have to turn my shell. Okay, and then I put it in a Ziploc bag, and I got that idea from the Barefoot Contessa. And what she does is she puts it in a Ziploc bag. It lasts forever. I mean, it lasts for a good 2-3 weeks. I think the moisture from the towel, from the wet towel, keeps it moist. Okay? Gotta watch my shell. I gotta watch my Manicotti shell. Okay, let me just do this. You gotta be multitasking when you're in the kitchen cooking. So I don't understand how women say, oh, I don't know how to cook. No, they know how to cook. They just don't want to learn how to cook. I think women need to cook. It's very gratifying. It's very rewarding. And don't buy into the lie that you don't know how to cook and you have to go to the restaurant every day, because you're spending so much money going to the restaurant. You're not eating healthy food. It's going to tax your body. They use all kinds of preservatives. They use all kinds of hydrogenated oil, all kinds of chemicals. If you know what goes on in the kitchen, you would never eat in a restaurant again. As I was a teenager, I used to work as a waitress in the diners in Brooklyn. You can't believe what they do to the food. When you order a turkey sandwich or a roast beef sandwich, guess where that roast beef is? The roast beef is on the floor in the refrigerator, where everybody's greasy, dirty, disgusting shoes are. They're walking all over that kitchen, their greasy floor, all the cooks and everybody, and then they're walking all over the floor in the refrigerator, the big walking refrigerator, and you're eating that food. Isn't that nice? And you know when you eat coleslaw, when you order the coleslaw, I hate to tell you it, but if you like everybody's hands in your food, you won't eat coleslaw anymore, because all the waitresses with their nails all done and the garbage underneath their nails are picking up the coleslaw and putting it in those little white dishes. So that's the coleslaw. You know the pickles and the coleslaw that they give you? After you finish, they bring them back into the kitchen and they throw them in the same bowl. They come in a big gray container. They put them back in that gray container and then they give it to the next table. They don't throw anything out. Especially the Greeks. They don't throw anything out. Okay? I'll be right there. I just want to do my shells again. Alright. And there's nothing like home cooked food. I don't care what you say. Nothing like the love and the attention to the home cooked food. Okay, so now this is the stuffing. This is the what I'm going to stuff my manicotti with. Can you see it? It's got the ricotta, it's got the eggs, it's got the grated cheese, it's got the mozzarella that I grated in there, a pinch of salt. I put a little bit of pepper. You don't have to, but I did. You know, it's on your taste buds. I don't taste it because it has the egg in it, and I don't trust the eggs. I don't trust too many things. So, right, and that's my stuffing. It's supposed to be thick, not runny, because if you make it runny, then when you stuff it, you're not gonna, it's gonna be all over the place. And I'll show you how I stuff it too. Okay, but I've got to finish making the manicotti, and what I'm going to do is put this in the refrigerator so it stays cold. And then, maybe on another video, I'll show you how I make butter. I make fresh butter. Yep. A chick from Brooklyn makes real butter. That's my accent. You like it? Okay. You want it nice and light. See, it's light. Because, let's see. I'm sorry for the shaking, guys. That shouldn't take too long. I try to keep my stove area clean when I'm cooking. I don't like, you know, a messy stove area. Because then you don't know where anything is. Okay. It's almost, and I have like one more scooping thing. It's almost like a pancake batter. Alright. This is the last of it. No, I think I got one more left after this. You could do it nice and even so you get a nice round circle. But don't keep it off the pot too long because it gets cool. And then you're going to bake it